MovieWeb.com.
We just learned that 1 hour ago, suicide bombers attacked an American housing compound in Saudi Arabia. The killers wore Saudi police uniforms.
Number so far, 100 plus killed, 200 plus injured.
The FBI would like an evidence response team in Saudi Arabia now.
Your Excellency, Special Agent Fleury of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and his colleagues.
This is not America. Your safety is my primary concern.
Your team cannot work at night. You're not safe.
Oh, we're safe during the day, huh?
I know you want him caught. We want him caught. Allow us to help your men catch this criminal.
I have 2 daughters and a son.
A man who can plan mass murder scares me more than anything.
You bring a very calm demeanor to this character.
Yeah.
Now, was that always in the script, or was that something you worked on in developing the character?
I think there's something that we all worked on to develop it. Not this, we don't want to do the gung-ho, cowboy type thing. We wanted to do a guy who mirrored what federal agents are really like. Their demeanor, it can't be too gung-ho because they won't get anything done. So to have this guy who's, sort of the calm guy, and then have people within the ensemble of his team have different personalities, and so that was what was talked about before we started shooting.
Al-Qaeda lost the first phase of this war. They know it. So a new zero-sum phase has begun. If you're a Westerner or a moderate Arab and you won't join us, we will let loose the truly talented murderers. Men like Abu Hamza. These are operational commanders who plan, organize, train, brainwash, preach extreme violence. These are the men we're fighting.
Now, what kind of special training? I know you've done a lot of training in your career, but what kind of specific training did you have to do for this one?
There wasn't really anything because my character wasn't just so trained in combat. She is somebody who has only been trained enough to kind of pass the exams in Quantico. She's much more trained as an EMT and as a member of the in forensics and more intellectual, I would think.
Now, do you think that you got the best scene in this entire movie because of the on-screen treatment of women from the Saudis?
I don't know that I agree with you that it's the best scene, but it is a pretty energized scene, and the crowd's definitely like it.
I was gonna say, when I saw it, the crowd was cheering really loud at that scene.
Yeah, I do think that it's kind of it's cathartic for my character who has lost her friend, and at the same time, I don't think she's looking at it as something just to feel good. I think she's fighting for her life, and we definitely played it that way. I mean, he just picked me up and tossed me around like a rag doll. It was really fun.
I'm 42 years old. I have 2 daughters and a son, beautiful son, and I find myself in a place where I no longer care about why we are attacked. I only care that 100 people woke up a few mornings ago, had no idea it was their last. When we catch the man who murdered these people, I don't care to ask even one question. I want to kill him. Do you understand?
Did you ever have to go through any type of military training for this?
Yes. The production brought trainers that helped us to know the codes of how to behave, as a military guy, how to use guns, how to act and react in situation which is in their life, their work life of military persons.
Now, why was this film important for you to direct this time, do you think?
I wanted to make a movie that reflected the times we're living in. The Middle East society is just such a dominant experience for all of us. I wanted to respond to it in some way. I didn't want to, force spinach down people's throats and force my political feelings down. And I didn't want to make a story about the Middle East that could be rendered completely irrelevant in 2 days based upon whatever happens in the news. So I like the idea of, basically setting a fairly standard homicide procedural in the world of the Middle East.
Now, what kind of special training did you have to go through for this film?
Had to learn how to fire a paintball gun. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I did.
I also had to, what else did I have to do? I had to learn how to sift through something to find out bomb fragments and find out what those mean. That's about it. And that took an afternoon. There wasn't a lot of training that we had to do for this, you know. We weren't playing, you know, real people, and so we didn't have to learn how to walk and talk like, you know, somebody that we all know. And we just basically had to be some FBI guys that go over there to check stuff out. I mean, we had to learn kind of how to look authentic when we were gathering evidence, but other than that, it wasn't that difficult.
Now, I understand this is a really challenging shoot for you. I mean, what were some of the major challenges that you had to
Mainly
come across?
The heat was brutal. It was like 125, 130 degrees every day. And, you know, shooting action sequences with a lot of crew and a lot of actors was pretty tough.
They've told me that you were one of the people that succumbed to heat exhaustion.
Well, there was that. I mean, I threw up, but that's not painful. I mean,
Sometimes it can be.
Well, if it comes out your nose, that throw up can be painful. Otherwise, it's just good. It's good for your body, you know, because you can lose weight. You look very nice and thin after you throw up.
Was this one of the toughest films you've ever worked on for you?
No, not the toughest film, but some of the conditions were a little tough, like as far as the heat was concerned, and in Phoenix, you know, 110, 115 degree. But even with that, it was helpful because we got some days where we did get some relief. We started early, 5, 6 in the morning, so you can kind of get through before the real heat was set in. And I think, like as you were saying, like when you take things from it, I think the tricky thing for Peter Berg and Michael Mann was to be able to show no sides, to be able to show a movie where people are completely equal. Like when you see the Ashraf's character when he's with his family and his Islamic teaching and how they eat together and how they have family values, which a lot of times you don't get to see in the press. So I think that was the tricky part.
When we catch the man who murdered these people and kidnapped their friend,
I don't care to ask even one question. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.